All right, with the linen cabinet, obviously starting with the toe kick, that's the width and the depth, but the computer takes into account the setback on the front and the back. So if we look at it in this view, you should have from the front of the cabinet here to the toe kick 2 7/8, and the toe kick, that back ear is tight to the wall. That's tight to the wall, and this is that 1-inch void. This piece should be about a 1/4 inch off the wall, right here as shown, 1/4 inch off. So that's set and level. So this cabinet is 16.5, but when you set up, the panel's not on there, so the carcass itself is 15 3/4, and then you have an 1.5 inch void between the wall and the cabinet. Because when that's set, the cabinet, there should be about a 1/4 inch of toe kick showing for the applied panel to sit on. So once this is set and plumb and in the correct position, set this cabinet, put a level on the face with the door off to check for plumb. You're with the stud layout, you'll probably have one screw in the corner. These skinny ones can be a little tricky because you don't have two screws, but in order to get a shim in the back left corner, depending if you can get your forearm in there, we'll just take like a 3/4 by 3/4 stick and nail the shim to it to reach into the back of the cabinet. But toe kick is set, cabinet is set on there, and you'll have to slide it back and forth depending if the wall leans in or the wall leans out. But find the sweet spot there, keeping in mind the 2 7/8, and it doesn't always come out perfect because the walls can be drastically out of plumb. But once you know that it's plumb, run a screw through the deck into the toe kick, use levels to get it plumb, and then once you're close with levels, click the doors on, and you'll probably have to adjust the door up a little bit to get the bottom of the door perfectly flush with the bottom of the cabinet. And then make sure you've got a 1/8 inch from between the edge of the door and the left side of the cabinet, here and here. So that'll set and make sure that door's adjusted properly. Same thing with this door. Put that on there, 1/8 inch or so in between. And then you can lightly adjust with shims on the back corners to get the cabinet out of rack if it is, and that'll show up. I mean, if you pulled on this corner, you could watch the variation change in these corners here. And then once you have it in position with shims in place properly, you can cinch it down to the wall and then scribe your applied panel to the wall. So we would just open up these doors, set that applied panel on the toe kick, make sure that you have an even amount, and this is a 1/2 inch oversize because when you're done with the applied panel, when you measure from the cabinet face to the front of the applied panel, it should be 13/16, the thickness of the door plus the bumper. So when you put that applied panel on there to figure out your scribe, say it's 1 inch and 5/16 on the bottom, it needs to be the same up top. And then draw your scribe, cut it, and install the applied panel. And in this one, I would put one about 3 screws in the front in this opening, and 2 in the back. So we'll typically 1.25" screw here, here, and here, and then one in each back. And for the bottom section, you wouldn't need one here, a 4th one, 5th one, and then one in each back. And once that's set, then the filler can go in. And if you need to make one for that, that's fine. We can just replace that soffit piece that you used, and then your soffit would go in. So that's the install instructions for this cabinet.